to the Quality of Life podcast. My name is Erin Olson, and I am a businesswoman and mother who has been studying personal growth for over 15 years. I've tried almost all of the habits and hacks out there. My goal is to use my real-life experience to show you which tricks and habits make the biggest changes to your quality of life with the least amount of time and energy on your part. We will cover everything from habits to hacks, fitness to family, and everything in between. Now, let's dive on into today's topic. Hey guys, welcome back to the Quality of Life podcast. Erin Olson here with another episode. Well, today we are starting a new series on how to start a side hustle that might grow into your main hustle someday. You know, as I think back to when I started my businesses, which I've had a few of and I'll get into later, I wish there was an easy startup guide, like starting a business for dummies or Cliff Notes if you're as old as I am and you know what those are. And so what I've decided to do is to try to give you guys the resources and tell you everything that I know that can help you to get your side hustle or your business started easy and inexpensively, and try to make it as simple as possible so you don't get overwhelmed. So that is a series that I am starting today. The series is called So You Want to Start a Side Hustle or Business. Well, this is part one. And part one is all about what is it? So before I get to that, I just want to check in on how last week's homework went. Have you decided to start something and fill out that Creating Crushable Goals worksheet that I attached? Or are you stuck trying to figure out what you should even start? Well, in today's episode, I hope to help you figure out what that business or side hustle you could start might be. Like I said in last week's episode, I believe that God gives everyone ideas, and it is up to us to do our share and bring it to life. I know you've got some great ideas inside of you right now, just waiting patiently for you to use it. So, why do I believe that? Well, you might not know this about me, but I was blessed with an entrepreneurial spirit as a kid. My first business was mowing lawns so that I could afford to get a horse when I was 11 years old. And yes, I did raise enough because I'm also stubborn. Years later, as a new wife and mom, I also took over a handmade soap business that my mom had started, growing that into not only just a booming business at the local Renaissance Festival, but also a retail shop in one of our local small towns. And years later, I started trimming horses' feet in the early 2000s and grew that business to near 6 figures. And then most recently, I invented a hay feeder for horses and livestock in 2008, and I grew that company, Hay Chicks, to a multi-million-dollar company. So I know firsthand how great it is to have a side hustle that can afford you that extra spending cash. It can validate you when your 9-to-5 job might not. It can also grow into something that eventually takes over that 9-to-5 and gives you the ultimate feeling of freedom that only your own business can give you. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through some questions to find out what that side hustle can be for you. I'll also show you some pitfalls to be on the lookout for that can easily sabotage your new venture. In the coming weeks, I'll help you with everything from business structure to patents, trademarks, and copyrights, and sourcing materials to building a website. I will tell you everything that I know about building your thing, and a lot of the lessons that I learned so you don't have to learn them the hard way. So, first things first. Have you ever said, man, someone should invent ... Or, if only the people who made this thing would change blank, it would make it so much better. Or have you ever paid for someone to provide a service for you and you knew that you could do it so much better? Well, those phrases, among others, are keys to your future. Most of the biggest companies started from those same humble beginnings. So when you hear yourself saying something similar, take note. This could be your thing. So I do have to mention that there is a fast track to starting a side hustle, and that is network marketing, also known as multi-level marketing or a pyramid scheme. Now, before you discount my advice or knowledge, let me just tell you, this is a great way to learn how to market your business, how to close a sale, and also is usually a pretty small investment with a recognizable name. And some of the network marketing companies out there go to great lengths to offer training and coaching to help you get started. And I've personally been affiliated with Amway, Cutco, Young Living, and Melaleuca. So if you're looking to gain knowledge in sales, marketing, and inventory, but don't have a lot of time or money to invest, this might be an option for you. Personally, I don't feel like it is a long-term solution, as the only people who really make millions off of these are the owners of the company. But short-term, you can learn a lot from them. This also probably won't be enough for the average person to do full-time instead of a 9-to-5 job. And it might burn out your friends and family to all of your parties. Okay, back to finding your thing. There are a few questions that might help you get some insight to something that you could start. First, what is something that you're really good at, or that is a gift that you have, that your friends or family tell you that you excel in? Here's an example. I have been told that I am really, really good at teaching others what I've learned from my own experiences. And so that's why I'm doing this podcast, because I feel like I've had a ton of experiences that I have learned from, and I want to try to make it so that other people don't have to go through the pain and the agony of wading through those problems when somebody else has already done it. So this actual podcast is an example of something that you're really good at or that somebody told you that you excel in. Other examples could be like, are you a really good baker? Do you know how to cut hair really cool? Or organizing or decorating homes? Are you a person who likes to do scrapbooking or quilting? There's so many things. All you have to do is jump on Pinterest, and then you will see exactly how people have turned something that they love or are really good at into a business. Second, what is something that you know you could do better, cheaper, or faster? My example on this one would be when I started trimming horses' feet. Back in 2004, my husband and I, as new parents, new homeowners, newly married, we were broke. And I also had horses, which I really had no business doing as a person who doesn't have a lot of extra funds. But I will tell you that one of my horses had a really bad foot problem that needed attention from the vet and from farriers. And a farrier is a person who trims horses' feet. And long story short, I found a person who was able to save her life and her ability to be ridden by doing a special type of barefoot trimming. I paid for this guy to do it several times, and then he just told me, basically, I don't have time to do your horses anymore, so I think you should learn how to do it yourself. And the rest of the story is I went to school, I learned how to do it, and not only did I learn how to do it, but I grew that company into a very lucrative company. Yes, it was very labor intensive, but that company, Rebel Footworks is what it was called, was a great business that I had. The third question that you could ask is there something that you have done to make something easier? Maybe you've made something that's tedious or time-consuming quicker and easier. One of these examples is this book that I love, and if you've never heard of it, you should go out and get it. It's called The New Artisan Bread in 5 Minutes a Day book. I'm going to put that in the show notes, but basically what they figured out is everybody loves fresh bread, right? Well, they figured out a way to make a large batch of really good, like the crispy outside and the doughy inside artisan kind of bread that we all love. You can make it fresh daily in like 5 minutes by making a specific type of batch. And so they have created a book on how to do that. And man, if that's not your thing, I don't know what's wrong with you. But if it's not, another example would be the 7-minute abs phenomenon that happened back in the 90s. The fourth question you can ask yourself is, what is the thing that you do often that you hate the most? Chances are, if you hate it, others do too. And if you can find a solution, you have a great idea. My example there is my company, The Hey Chicks. That same horse that I was talking about earlier, who had the foot problem, she had to be on a specific diet, and that diet was a very small amount of food. And so feeding that horse was painstaking because I'd have to go out and do chores 3 to 4 times a day because otherwise she would eat all of it at one time and then have no hay for the rest of the day. So working through ways to try to make sure that she could slow down so my other horses could get their fill as well, I ended up developing a hay net that slows down consumption, reduces waste, and has a million of other awesome side effects that honestly, I hated spending that time feeding my horses when I had so many other things to do. So I solved my own problem. And by solving my own problem, I created not only a company, but I created a whole new way of feeding horses. So you never know what that idea might have. Actually, some of the best businesses were born on accident. Did you know that Coca-Cola, penicillin, Post-it notes, and even chocolate chip cookies were made on accident or from a failed idea that was just repurposed into something useful? So don't discount your failures either, because those could be the exact thing that this world needs. So what are some key things that can make a business profitable? First thing, does it solve a problem? Necessity is the mother of all businesses. So how does this serve others? How does it solve problems? This is the number one rule of business. If your business doesn't solve a problem or isn't needed, it's never going to survive. Second, can you get passionate about it? You are going to need this passion to get you through tough times and setbacks. And you have to be able to summon your ability to talk about it for hours on end to people who really have no idea. If I'm being completely honest, you have to have the passion of this, knowing that what you are bringing to this world is necessary and it's good and it is the best thing that you have ever done. Third, what is the quality? Speaking of that, it's got to be the best thing that you can offer right now. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now, let me say that again. It does not have to be perfect because as you start creating the product or the service, you are going to realize little things that you can tweak and make it even better. But it has to be the best quality that you can offer right now. If you are telling yourself it is good enough, then you better stop and get back to the drawing board because it is not good enough. Fourth, would you buy your service or product? Really? I mean, if not, why? What can you do to make it something that you would spend your hard-earned money on? Fifth, what makes your idea unique? In a world where there's a million different people with food blogs, why would yours be any different? You have to have something that is unique and that has your life, your energy, and your love in it. Sixth, can you scale it? Just because you can make one thing or do the job once, you have to have something that you can do over and over and over in order to make it something that you can feasibly make money on or that you can serve more people with. And finally, seventh, is it feasible? Are you able to get the skills and the resources that are needed to start this business? If not, then you need to figure out how. Because I believe that this idea is gonna change the world. And if you can't figure out how you can make it work, then it's never gonna be the best that it can be. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat these questions because this is gonna be part of your homework. Number 1, does it solve a problem? Number 2, can you get passionate about it? Number 3, is the quality the best you can offer right now? Number 4, would you buy your service or product? Number 5, what makes your idea unique? Number 6, can you scale it? And finally, number 7, is it doable? All right, well, if you have time to answer these questions honestly, you might have the greatest business idea ever. There are a few possible pitfalls to watch out for when you're starting this idea. I just want to say, if you are a new parent, this might not be the right time for you to start this. Unless, of course, you're solving a problem that other new parents have. Then it might be the perfect time. Another pitfall is you got to kind of keep it quiet for a little while, just until you flesh out the details and make sure that your idea is doable. Once you start, you can then start telling everybody. This is also going to be key to keep the naysayers quiet so that you have no other voices in your head telling you that you can't do something. Another pitfall to watch out for is when you see somebody else doing something that's similar, this does not mean that you can't still do your thing. It just means that you will have to put your own personal touch onto it and or do it better. And the last pitfall that I can think of that you need to be on the watch for is overwhelm. In last week's podcast, I talked about fear-sightement. That's where you get so excited and afraid all at the same time. And I know that there's so much to think about and so much to plan right now, but we are going to do this in bite-sized pieces so that overwhelm is going to be held at bay and so that you don't get to the point where you don't think you can do this, because you can. So don't let fear-sightement take over and kill this idea. You have something inside of you that this world needs. Ed Milet said, God did not give you another day because you needed one. God gave you another day because someone needs you. And this applies to your idea as well. So let's do this. This world needs your business. This is the American dream, baby. This is what freedom looks like. Serving others with a solution to their needs and problems. Okay, are you guys ready for this week's homework? This is where you are going to get clear on what you can offer others. Answer those questions that I asked earlier. So after you answer those questions, this is the next step. You need to pray about it. Pray to God that He helps give you the answers to the questions that come up. Pray that He helps you to have the energy and the fortitude to see it through. And pray that He helps you to do the best that you can do. And finally, you need to write down your idea because next week we are going to flesh out a simple business plan so that you can see how it might work in the real world. Well, guys, this is the first step to starting your new venture. I am so excited to be going on this journey with you. I hope that my real life experience can make this fun and easy, and of course, profitable. Please share this episode with anyone else who has some great ideas that this world could use in the open market. And please share this episode on your own platforms so that it can reach more people because we could all use yours and their ideas. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Quality of Life podcast, and I am going to see you next week. Have a great one. Bye. Thanks for listening to today's episode. Be sure to check us out on the Quality of Life podcast, Facebook and Instagram pages, and our website, theerinolson.com, for downloads and more information. That is THEERINOLSON.com. Stay up to date by joining our email newsletter. Together, we can improve all of our quality of life.